Sony tried to secure Crimson Desert as a PlayStation exclusive. Put them in little grubby little hands. So Sony tried to lock down Crimson Desert, and it might have changed everything. We're talking one of the most ambitious open world RPGs in development right now. Swords, sieges, massive battles. And Sony reportedly pushed to try to make it a timed PlayStation exclusive. But here's the twist though. It didn't happen. And if it did, the entire conversation around platform exclusivity, physical media, and who controls access to games might look very different. Right? So what really went down behind the scenes? And more importantly, what does this mean for you going forward as a gamer?
Are you not entertained?
All right, we're going to break this piece down. Reports suggest Sony approached the developers behind Crimson Desert to bring the game in as a PlayStation exclusive, which honestly makes sense. I mean, this is a visually stunning current gen system seller type title, but no. The game is still multi-platform. And that tells us two big things. Number one, Sony is still aggressively chasing third-party exclusivity deals even this early in the 2026. And number two, publishers and developers are increasingly saying, we want that full multimedia, multi-platform money. Now, for us as gamers, and especially for collectors, what does that mean? Because exclusivity deals don't just decide where you play, they decide who owns access and what storefront controls the game, and whether a physical version can even exist long term. So the real question becomes, is this the future? Where do the platform holders truly fight harder than ever for exclusives? Or are developers finally pushing back to keep their games everywhere? I'm going to take this first. The narrative was Sony approached Pearl Abyss and they saw the potential. And I'm going to use this as a stepping stone. Sony does not just go to anybody and say, hey, we want this to be an exclusive. They go to titles that they feel have potential, real market driving potential. Not to say they're perfect, because they did do this with Starfield, and we saw where that went. But Sony went to Pearl Abyss and offered them to have Crimson Desert, a PlayStation exclusive, of their typical 1-year contract to keep it off Xbox, further driving the bigger reason why everything and all gamers should come to PlayStation. But Pearl Abyss said, nah, bruh, we will publish it and do it independently. And it wasn't just to turn down easy money and be rebellious. Pearl Abyss said that if they did take that exclusivity right, that not only Sony had paid for the marketing, but they still would have owed storefront fees and everything else that Sony would have had control over. And they feel they can do bad all on their own. They got this, and rightfully so. Crimson Desert is hot right now. It is the talk around the town. It looks to be this year's critical darling, as 2025 was defined by Expedition 33. And that also, too, came out early in the year. So could this be a repeat? Another Cinderella story this early in the year to set the year going forward? I say yes. I've mentioned it many times before that I am a huge believer in this game. I am calling it now. If it lands and sticks is landing, game of the year, game of the generation. This will set the bar once again, as The Witcher 3 did. Should you be upset on Sony doing this? Absolutely not. They all do it. Xbox used to do it all the fucking time, and I don't know why people constantly forget that. But, Treese, what are your feelings on this? How do you feel Sony trying to squeeze in more exclusivity deals as they try to get their first party house in order in the background from their fuck-ups of live service chasing?
Yeah, I just like I've said on a previous video from their showcase, and listen, they're coming to self course correct a lot of fuck ups that was live service game that they scrapped all them years ago. But it's quite interesting because we talked about another PlayStation exclusive, Phantom Blade and Wolverine, and they're releasing so close to each other. So it's really kind of crazy to think that they was even want more, but I understand that this is coming out in like a few weeks where, but still, like, it's interesting that, but I don't knock them to have that mindset. Like, hey, we got the money, it's reasonable, we think it's gonna be a good game. Hey, let's get it exclusive, let's have it time exclusive. Listen, it's make it makes business sense. So I'm not knocking them for it. And for all the things I've seen, I'm now smoking the Kool-Aid that is Crimson Desert hype. You know, all the overviews of the features have been coming out. So I don't knock them for trying. Now, I will applaud the makers of Deserts to say no at the end because, you know, that could have secured, you know, probably a number of sales off the back. But, you know, hey, listen, they said no. You know, I love when people stand on business. I just love it. So, hey, I hope that people show up for this game and allow this game to perform well. If everything we've seen from this game is to be true. Now, I still have that little jaded like mind. Is this smoke and mirrors? Is this smoke? Is this real? So we'll just have to see, but hey, I'm not knocking PlayStation for wanting the time exclusive. I mean, it makes sense. It's flooding the timelines every time I open Twitter or YouTube. A lot of people are talking about it, so it only makes sense. But I definitely want to shout out to Crimson Desert for just saying no. Like, hey, we're not gonna limit our customers that we can touch, but by being exclusive to you. We want our games to be put in front of every fucking gamer. And that is very commendable for some Desert Studio to do, honestly.
Yeah, because they could have easily took the money and saved some hard work and money on their end because we all know marketing is very, very expensive. I mean, you can have a product lose out because you didn't market it correctly just due to budgeting. But I do applaud. I commend them. I don't know what the stipulation of the exclusivity was. I can't remember if it was just only PlayStation for a year and then Xbox and PC later, or just PC and Xbox. The article I remember reading and the news people were saying was that for 1 year it does not appear on Xbox. That was the news that I was hearing and reading, and I can believe that. People tried to go back and say, "Oh, it's just like the Black Myth Wukong," but that developer swore up and down they had no deal in place, that it was a technical issue, and Microsoft was just constantly saying like, "Oh, it ain't us, it's them." But you know, to each their own. But this is how business works. Everyone makes their own little deals in the background. And like I said, PlayStation is on a roll with a lot of third party exclusives because they need to satiate their audience with a reason to stick around on PlayStation while they get their first party house together because they have made some tremendous blunders this generation. And securing stuff like this, hey, that's what keeps the consumers coming and going. I applaud Perlibis. You said no. You turned down the easy money. Kudos to you.
Yeah, definitely let us know how you feel and what you think about them not doing the time exclusive. Do you think it's the right idea or are they gonna end up regretting it? Let us know in the comments down below.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, are you not entertained?